So I went to a psychic the other day. I knocked on her front door and she yelled out, "Who is it?" So I left. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Black Dog Podcast version 2, episode 39. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
Get the dog.
Where's the big man?
No, blue sofa covered over there. Yeah, go on.
And I'm Elton, who I only got that joke very recently.
Like about 20 seconds ago.
Yeah, the penny was on a parachute.
Oh, dear. Anyway, and yes, as you may have guessed, this week we'll be reviewing Elton's choice, which will be...
That was Snatch.
That's right. The Geeza Mockney Snatch by Guy Ritchie. And we will also be seeing how everyone's week's been. We've got a bit of feedback, but it's not actually about the film. It's more about my going off the rails about fandom last week. Which apparently seems to have struck a chord with a few of you out there. So, yeah, so we'll just put that out there. Anyway, so we'll see how everyone's week's been. Elton's not really got much going on, so you just feel free to chip in and just give everyone.
I'm going to heckle. I'm going to heckle you bastards.
Heckle.
Because, you do it to me every week, so fuck you. I'm heckling whatever I want.
Just
all of you.
Heckle.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're the Greek chorus this week. Okay.
Yeah.
So
when Darren's on, it's going, boo, boo.
Your jokes are bad, and you should feel bad. Right. Okay. So let's move on to Jim then. Jim, how's your week been, sir? You're up first.
Well, it's been fairly quiet for a change.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Having said that, it's kind of just a couple of things. I've got one positive, one negative.
Okay. Go on in.
I'll do the negative one first. No, it's just like a battery, yeah.
Yeah.
If you use Patreon and show you behind the curtain, people subscribe, blah, blah, and then naturally people drop off in time. Now, a patron does ask them an exit survey.
Yes.
Now, most of the time, people just tick a box through my financial
has changed.
Situation has changed. Fine. And, people come and go, and it's nice when people are there, and when they go, thank you very much, glad, fine. However, once in a blue moon, there's always one, isn't there?
Okay.
Always.
And I know it's bad form to whinge about it, but you know what? I think this is a teachable point.
Okay.
If you're ever leaving remarks for an online creator, do ask yourself one personal question. Do they need to know this? Is this in any way relevant? And if not, why not shut your fucking tat?
Oh, God.
Because someone cancelled their subscription, and the reason given was, I didn't really get much use out of it. And it's kind of, well, what do you want from me? A nice badge saying, sorry, you're a low attention span motherfucker? Or, here's a cup saying, condolences, I can't manage my time. What am I supposed to do with you being shit?
Jesus, that's like people who make a fucking rating on something on Amazon, and they rate it because it turned up late. Not that the thing was actually any good, No, how was that pocket calculator you bought? It was shit because it turned up 3 days after I expected it to turn up. Oh, right.
Nice.
So it was really bad then. It didn't do any No, it did all the calculations. It still worked super. It was the fastest thing I've ever had. But,
One star.
Yeah, 1 star.
This was particularly rubbish, this calculator, because I thought I'd ordered a telly. I couldn't get Channel 4 at all on the microwave I bought last week.
1 star. Would rate it lower if I could. That's always a good one.
A friend of mine said this microwave was so intelligent it would cook my food for me. Little did I realise he was lying and being sarcastic when I bought it.
My wife bought a personal massager, and apparently it's not very good at massaging, because every time she goes upstairs, all I hear is, oh, God.
Yes,
This
lots
one
of
is
screaming. Yes.
a genuine one I saw for a wireless security camera was 1 star. This camera isn't wireless. You still have to plug it in.
Oh, fucking hell.
Oh, fucking hell.
Right. So oh, I can feel an episode of bad bad reviews on Amazon coming through.
Oh, it's a rich scene.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. But so this person couldn't be bothered to use it. So basically,
I mean, judging from her name, English was her first language. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was kind of one of those remarks of going, what were you meaning to say? And what I need to know this why.
yeah.
Thank you. Ruined my day, you fucking cunt. I could buy you from listening and nail your head to a coffee table. I fucking would, you bitch.
However, if you would like to support
Jim's
Support
Patreon
him.
is available now.
Yeah, support him. Just never leave.
if you do,
No, you can leave,
Just leave
Someone
quietly.
left saying, Jim's great, but I don't really listen to listen to podcasts. Like, fair enough. Happy trails to you, sir. Thank you for your support. But it's just, don't leave me things apparently in code. That make no sense.
Yeah. Oh well, we've all had that sort of thing. Well, yeah, more than a few times. It comes with the territory. The best one was the 1-star review that Black Dog got on one of the iTunes overseas that said it sounds like 4 blokes talking down the pub, and occasionally they mention films. Yes.
Yep. Bang on.
That's what we do here.
Yes. And the worst bit was review came in for the review that was actually labelled Pubcast.
Oh.
So when we were actually in the pub, apparently we were down the pub.
Do you think it's the same person that complained that, like, Ghostwatch had ghosts in it?
Scary. Yeah.
Or is this the sort of person that they write on the side of peanut butter may contain that?
Yeah, for a bag of planters.
Yeah, exactly. Might contain that. It's just, I think there's a distinct possibility.
Oh, well. Well, anyway, Jim, on a more positive note, what do you have?
To slightly infringe on Darren's territory, I've got a very good recipe to share with you all.
Oh,
It's
hang on.
effectively
Go
a
on, then.
way to more or less have chips, but healthy.
Oh, God, okay, go on.
Yeah,
Shut
they're
up.
called smashed potatoes. Not mashed, smashed.
Right.
Smash.
Right, you take your potatoes, you can either sort of parboil them or microwave them like you would to do an instant baked potato. Doesn't matter which. Leave them to cool, cut them in half, and then flatten them
Flatten them.
so they get like potato pancakes.
Right.
Okay.
Put them on a greased tray. I use the original recipe I saw endorsed like butter and olive oil. You can do it without, 1 cal fat spray, not a problem.
Right.
Put it down, skin side down, give spritz of oil over the top, season to your taste, bang him in the oven about gas mark 7, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, depending on the amount you're doing, and you get this lovely sort of thing that's kind of like a crispy potato pancake that's it's kind of part chip, part roast potato.
Oh,
And they're really, really good.
nice. Nice. If my stomach,
give that a go.
if my stomach wasn't trying to leap out of my throat at this precise moment in time, I'd say I feel quite hungry. But that sounds good.
No, they're really good because when you sort of crush them, you get a nice sort of uneven surface that just crisps up, and then all the inside just fluffs up as well. It's kind of great.
Nice.
I say, and probably the lowest fat possible you can, but something is just like a giant round chip.
Nice. God, dear. We're slowly turning into the video game and cookery program, aren't we?
We are.
Dog grooming tips, video games, cooking tips. Oh dear. Well, there you go. Awesome. Well, then I shall try this, and I shall report back next week. because I like the sound of that.
Yep. It's the chips you can eat that are good for you. Hurrah! We
Hurrah.
cracked it.
If I decide to douse them in a ton of Anchor butter and then throw them in the oven, does that kind of ruin it, or
Sort of negates it. Might make it better, to be honest. But you're still talking quite a small amount of fat compared to, say, roasting it or deep fat frying. So It's still good.
Okay, well, I'm going to go for some. I'll go for some of that.
Mm.
Cool. Okay. Anything else, sir?
I think that'll do.
That'll do. Okay. Something positive, something negative. That's all good. Right. Okay. Then we'll move on to you, Mr. Barnard. How's your week been?
Yes, my week has been really good. Actually, It's been parts relaxing and parts a little bit exciting. Because this week I gained a new piece of tech.
Right.
I got a gaming laptop.
Ooh.
Which is it's a HP. What's the actual thing? I can't remember what the bloody thing's called. But it's got like a GeForce graphics card in it. It's got a AMD Ryzen 5 chip in there, and it flies like the bloody wind.
Nice.
When it's playing games, right? Tried it, got it up. I thought, right, let's start off slowly. So I put the original Tomb Raider on there, right? No trouble, no sweat at all, right? Runs it, doesn't even blink, right? So I thought, okay, let's up it a bit more, shall we? Let's put something else in. Let's give it a bit of a challenge. So I thought, Alien, yes.
What,
Alien
Isolation?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I put it on there, right? And it went, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to give me something that was going to stretch my capabilities. I'm not joking. It just ran so smoothly, and I could see beads of sweat on people's foreheads, like over the other side of the. In the beginning when they're in the room that are all together, and
they're all shitting themselves. Yeah.
You can see the pores, individual pores on their skin.
Oh
with
wow!
This thing, right, and I thought, so I thought, right, okay, let's give it a real test. So I put on Horizon Zero Dawn, on it, right? I got the enhanced version of it, right? I put that on, and it went, I'm very sorry, you obviously didn't hear me. I thought you were going to give me something that was going to push my capabilities.
Right.
I'm not joking, mate. This, just amazing.
Right. So you got to pray to fucking high heaven that we make it all the way to the end of this podcast without any more issues.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, the only two things that are not cocky on this is, it looks like maybe the network card isn't up to snuff.
Right.
So the Wi-Fi, I don't know. I'll have a look at that. It might just be mine here. But and the battery kind of takes a bit of a hit when you start playing games. But
that's understandable.
Part of the course, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is. Yeah, but no. Apart from that, it is super fucking quick. I've never had a laptop that booted up in less than 4 seconds before.
Right.
It shuts down in the same amount of time as well. It just goes off. Boom.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So
cool.
Happy with it.
You is well happy. Where did you get that from then? Is it just something someone gave to you, or
no? I actually got it from Argos. They were doing ones on their gaming laptops. Right. Let's see what they've got here. So anything I run on it, it just has no problem with at all.
So you bought it. So you bought it from Argos. What, like this week?
Yeah.
And it's got a dodgy network cable.
No. I mean, I don't know if it can actually detect it through the wall.
Your Wi-Fi, right? Okay.
Yeah, it's just the Wi-Fi. That's all. It's got nothing else that's dodgy about it. Trust me. It's like Bang Olufsen and speakers on it and stuff like that.
How much did that knock you back, if you don't mind me asking?
It's around about 600 quid.
Oh, right. Okay.
But
cool.
You can, and I've got it out of the box. Looked at the keyboard, and it's like, I can see where you might have cost me 600 quid. The keyboard all lights up.
You're such a tart. One glowy keyboard and you're fucking anybody's.
Well, is it a rainbow coloured one as well?
I've got a HP gaming headset with it as well. And I thought, before I actually got the thing out of the box and put it on, I thought, I'm going to give this a try. So I stuck it into the controller of my Xbox. And I did my usual sound test with these things, which is A New Hope. Right?
Oh, yeah.
The opening of that. And I'm not joking. You could hear it's the engine of the Star Destroyer fuck me. It was just like, I thought any minute now blood's going to start coming out my nose.
Nice.
But it just really did. It was just like, okay, yeah, this is a decent headset.
Nice. So,
the microphone on it is a load of old rubbish, but the actual cans themselves are sound quality.
Well, we know that. We're listening to you.
Oh, thank you. Cheers. Fuck you.
Oh, come on. I'm not going to not give you a shit, mate.
No, of course you are.
Well, then.
It wouldn't be you if you didn't give me shit. So
no, exactly.
There you are.
There you go. Anything else, sir? What else has been going on?
Well, let's see. I had my ass saved by technology as well. Okay, being an old man now, certain things I haven't actually ventured into because that's dark magic. That I can't possibly use that to pay my bills with. So I went shopping on Sunday, and I got to the checkout, and I suddenly realised I like new pair of jeans on. And I left my wallet in my other jeans. Brought everything else out of me. And it's like 15 minutes till the fucking store shuts, and I live 10 minutes away.
Right.
So I've like got the girl to hold my shopping in the office here, and I've run
Euphemism.
down the road. Euphemism. Yeah.
Hold me shopping, love.
And I thought to myself, well, hold on a minute.
Hold me bags.
Hold me bags. I thought, didn't I set up Google Play on this thing a while ago? And then I thought, oh, wait a minute, do they accept it? And all I could find on the fucking internet was a post from someone like 9 months ago saying, oh, Tesco's doesn't accept Google Pay. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck, no. But, I tried it out, and it did actually work. So, I didn't have to sleep in the shed or anything like that. I was able to bring home the shopping.
Right. Okay.
So, thank you, modern technology.
Right. Okay. So now, any guys, Jim, Elton, do you want to take bets on when we'll hear the story in this segment of Darren accidentally sitting with his arse against the sort of card reader and losing like 150 quid?
Paying for a whole train to get home from London.
Yeah. No, I shall. This is kind of a backup device, so I switch off all that fucking stuff. The NFC, everything is like, no, I can't trust myself because I will walk past like a cake shop and buy the entire cream cake row.
Yeah,
there.
Tappity 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 tap.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Wonderful,
nice,
wonderful,
cool.
So, I think, what else was there? Was there one? Oh, watched the film on Shudder.
Okay.
Started using the Shudder account there. Ree's been kind of using it a little bit more than I have, but we watched a film called Cold Hell.
Right.
And it's all about a woman who's a taxi driver in, I think it's Belgium, something like that. She's a kickboxer as well. Yeah. Right? She does this, goes to the gym, does a kickboxing thing. And what happens is one night when she gets home, she gets in her flat and she kind of just there's this odor in her flat. She doesn't know where the fuck it's coming from. Anyway, she follows it all the way to the bathroom. She opens the window to find out where it's coming from, and she's watching. She looks over and there's a woman on the floor about to be skinned, and and she's like, "What the fuck is that?" And then she notices the serial killer that's done this is standing there staring at her.
Right.
And so it's like, oh, fuck. And so she slowly closes the window. And so what happens next is it's this bloke trying to track her down, right? Trying to get hold of her. And, it was all right. It wasn't bad.
Yeah?
It wasn't bad at all. As I say, it was called Cold Hell.
Nice.
Cold Hell on Shudder.
Okay.
And there are some pretty fucking tense bits, as well as some pretty sort of ooch moments where she's beating the shit out of various individuals as well. So, give it a go.
Nice.
It's a foreign language film as well, so it's subtitled.
And what's the deal with Shudder? How do you get it? Because I mean, I've rented a couple of Shudder films, but I've done that sort of via directly. But do you do it through the Amazon then?
No,
or a subscription or something.
No, I just pay for the subscription. I got the app and everything, did it all on there, and then I just added it to my my Roku box. The stick, and it comes as an app on there. So I've now got Disney on there. I've got Amazon. I've got Netflix. I've got Shudder. I've got Now TV on there. They're really good sticks.
Awesome.
And also you got like YouTube on there as well. You get hold of, and there's various other channels. There's like 1,000,000,001 channels that you can get. There's even like a Star Trek original series channel you can download and just watch original series Star Trek off of it.
You can do that with Netflix though, can't you?
You can do, I think, or Amazon. But this is a free channel I'm talking about. Right. There are free channels that you can have on there. You don't need a subscription to anything.
Okay.
And you have to be a bit careful because some of them could be a bit like, this is like public access television.
And all the joys that brings.
And all the joys that brings. So yeah. But Shudder has got some pretty good stuff on there.
Nice.
So I think it's it's only just started up, so it's trying to its actual raft of films and TV series. I mean, Creepshow's on there. They've got the Creepshow Christmas special.
Oh right.
Which is a film. So that's on there. And they do a lot of Shudder exclusives, which is they're low budget films, but they're not bad.
Okay.
Just don't watch Blood Machines, all right?
Okay, I don't think with a title like that there was any chance of that. But I think we can.
It's Lex for the new generation.
Oh good lord, no! Oh good lord!
I watched half an hour of it and I couldn't take it anymore. It was like this isn't going. No. This is technology you're just throwing at me and calling it something and not explaining actually what it does, and you're just going to do that thing where it just does things as the plot requires.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Not that there's much plot. No.
Not that there's much plot. No. But don't let Blood Machines put you off though.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So we'll check out Shudder when we get a chance. That's cool.
Do it. Was it? You can get a week free on there. So
how much is it, by the way?
I think it's about $4.99.
No, that's not too shabby if you're going to use it.
It is. I shall have a look. I shall check up on the subscription on the app.
Okay.
And I shall tell you. Where have you gone, Shudder? Okay. Anyway, talk amongst yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Shudder. There we go. I've
Right.
got the app there. But if you want to talk amongst yourselves, I will come back with a price in a minute.
Oh, cool. Okay. Well, then I'll just do my week.
Yes.
My week, pretty quick, really. The girls doing their Doctor Who binge watch continues apace. We're now about 3 episodes away from the end of season 6, I think it is. The sort of mid Matt Smith season. And I will say this: the Pandorica / Big Bang makes a lot more sense when you watch it all in one big run. And so it doesn't feel quite so much of a cheap cop out. And the impossible astronaut and the silence and all that sort of stuff, that makes a hell of a lot more sense as well, when you can just binge watch like 5 or 6 episodes in an evening and you're like, oh, okay, see where they were going with that now, as opposed to watch it on a Saturday, forget about it, and then sort of like try and pick up what you missed from the previously on at the beginning, and you're like, that's missed out a whole heap of shit. That previously on is no good whatsoever. Speaking about randomly skipping things in previously ons, also I happened to stumble across the fact that BBC Two are doing a replay of Battlestar Galactica, the remake, at the moment, and they've just sort of midway through season 3, and I watched the episode Exodus the other night.
Oh, right, okay.
And even without watching any of the rest of the show, just watching the episode before and Exodus, And it was just like, I just was like, oh yeah, I remember this. This had that great scene with the Galactica falling out of the sky and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, yes.
And then...
is that the one where it, jumps away?
Yeah, it sort of drops in and then drops and just goes zoop and fucks
Through
off
the
back out.
atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll just watch this 5 minutes. And like 45 minutes later, I'm still sitting there going, oh, this is so good. I forgot how good it is. But yeah, so I was quite surprised to see that as well. I'm not sure.
The boxing episode happened.
Well, luckily luckily it was like so late that I didn't sit around for the boxing episode. I don't think that's or the endless. This random person you've never seen before was really good on New Caprica. That's why we have to trust him. Who, her, it.
Oh, yeah. Right, okay.
Yeah, over and over again, plot lines. But, maybe I'll watch it and maybe I'll change my mind. But as far as I'm concerned, that was a bit...
Do you know what? I found with Battlestar Galactica, the new one, if you watch the first 4 episodes of each season, then you get great entertainment. Because it's like, after that, there's like a big gap where they have to kind of reassess their budgets. Oh, how much did we spend on that first 4 episodes?
Oh, that's a bit tasty, that one.
Oh, yeah. Well, what was it? Season 2, the one with the that episode. It was like literally like a 4 episode movie. The one where Starbuck comes across the baby farm.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, and once again for those people in the audience, yeah. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, like you say, I think you're right. But I am kind of now intrigued to watch it again. I have to say, see whether or not.
No, you're not. Bail before the end.
Bail
Blood
before
pressure
the
won't
end.
take it.
No, that's
it.
true.
I know it.
Everyone,
It's a load of old bollocks. We all know it. There's no
Everyone-
going back to it.
everyone's listening, is going no. Okie dokie, fair enough. Well, I won't. It didn't take much convincing. I was going to say, then what else? Video game wise, I've been playing Uncharted 2, which I finished over the weekend. That was quite cool. Though I have to say, I said it on Twitter, but whoever decided that the very last scene that you play before the game just rolls its credits, whoever decided that it was going to be a run across a bridge with the camera facing you, so you're running towards the camera, can't really see the floor too much because the camera's looking at you, and then making it a fucking run and platformer should be fucking taken outside and slapped, because that was the most. Talk about the game left you with an irritated taste a terrible taste in your mouth, because it's like you've beaten the bad guy, you've run around, you've solved the mystery, you've rescued the girl, you've blown all the bad guys up, you've got out of this exploding temple, and then you get away, and it goes, right, now run across this collapsing bridge. It's collapsing in front of you. You can't see it, but you know what? Randomly jump in the air on the off chance you might land on something solid in about a second's time. Oh my God. It was literally only a 2-minute gameplay sequence, but I could have fucking murdered a small kitten by the end of that. Just give me something furry. I'm going to kill it. So,
Did you complete it?
I did.
You did it.
I did. Yeah. Which shows you precisely how much I stick with games when I have to. Saying nothing. And then,
I'm not biting. No,
No.
I'm not doing it. No,
no, you can't. You can't today. You can't today because my game's gone mental on social media. My favourite. Yep, it does. I'll leave that for some time in May as well. Yeah. So other than that, I watched a film. Now we'll leave it at that point. I watched a film, which was normally I don't tend to rent movies that are going to be, shall we say, cinema releases, so they're a bit more expensive to actually rent. But I've heard a lot of things about this, so I thought, I'll give it a go. And it's a film called Synchronic. which I don't know if you've heard of.
Synchronic. That sounds
Synchronic. And what it is, I tell you what, it's kind of weird to try and explain, but right, okay, Synchronic. Let's go for it. Basically, it stars my brain, Jamie Dornan, who was in that awful bloody 50 Shades of Grey thing.
Yeah.
And Anthony Mackie, who you may remember from, basically, he's the Falcon and Captain America sort of thing. And it's about these two paramedics who work late night shifts, work a late night shift, and one of them's ill. Won't go into what's going on with them, but one of them's ill. And the thing is, what they come across is they keep coming across what looks like drug-related crime, victims. Mm-hmm. Except the drug-related crime seems to be kind of aside to what's actually killed the person. So, like, there's one person who's been bitten by a snake, and there's no snakes in the area. There hasn't been snakes in the area for 200 years. And then someone else has died from being stabbed through the shoulder with a knife or with what looks like a sword or a scimitar. But
it sounds like one of them text adventure things.
Yeah, and so then what happens is Jamie Dorman's daughter it basically goes missing, and again it's related to this drug, which is called Synchronic. And it's... I won't say any more than that beyond the fact that the drug is doing something beyond just fucking people up. And if you're willing to go with the premise, if you're willing to go with what the drug's doing and how it's doing it, then you've got a really interesting, arty, low-budget sci-fi thriller. If you go, oh God, this is just stupid, then you'll be out in about 30 seconds flat, because it's got lots of arty shots. So lots of the camera starts to twist and turn, and there's quick cuts that sort of imply that one person sitting in one place is suddenly sitting inside an ambulance in exactly the same position without anything changing. You think, hang on, what's happened? And there's lots of moments like that where you kind of sort of go, oh, what's happened? But once you get past all the arty stuff, all the arty framing and the very slow takes, and the fact that at the beginning the narrative doesn't seem to make any sort of sense in terms of one thing happening after another.
Yeah,
you start to get to this kind of a pretty straightforward sort of missing persons drug story with lots of interesting little asides about racism, about family, about the pressures of working as like a late night shifts, the drug abuse. All sorts of weird little asides, and it's got this weird world building thing going on. And yeah, I came away by the end of it going, okay, it's got a bit of a strange ending and a bit weird, but it's a pretty straightforward film when you start to think of it. In the end, back on it, it's like Tenet, but without the bombast. And all the sort of, oh, look, we've got to blow a car up every 30 seconds and talk backwards and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it worth a £13 rental fee because it would have been on because it would have been in the cinema? Probably not. If I'd seen it with my, Cineworld Unlimited card, I would not have felt done over. But, yeah, when it finally does come down in price, which it was bound to do, when it comes down to like £3 or goes to Amazon Prime, then I would say it's well worth a look. We may even review it on here if it goes to Amazon Prime. But it's an interesting film. It's not brilliant, but it's certainly different. In the same way as something like Cognition was different. Remember when we watched that? Or Predestination.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
yes, yeah.
You know, Cognition with the...
Coherence.
That's
Yes.
it. Coherence, that's it. When Coherence, you know, with the sort of like different houses, and you're sort of trying to unpick what the fuck's going on, and then by the end of it, you're like, oh, I get it. And the same, you know, and it's the same sort of thing, you know, with, you know, Predestination as well, you know, where you're sitting there kind of going, oh, what the fuck? Where's this all lining up? Oh, I see. And, you know, at first you're all confused, and then all of a sudden by the end of it, you're like, oh, okay. Well, it weren't as clever as all that, but it initially appeared to be. But, yeah, I think for a low-budget indie film, it's certainly worth a look.
Mm-hmm.
And it was certainly better than some of the sci-fi nonsense I've been watching recently. So, yeah, absolutely.
Right. So what was that called again?
Synchronic. Synchrononic. And it's listed on IMDb as 2019, but I think it was planned to come out in 2019 and have a limited cinema release. But now what's happened is it's come out on Amazon Prime under their cinema label or first release label or whatever they call it nowadays, and it's basically you know, they're charging cinema ticket prices for a film rental, which, like I say, £14. If I hadn't heard good things about it, I probably wouldn't have done it, but I didn't regret it. But if I was recommending it to anyone else, I probably would have said wait for £3 or another route of getting it, aka wait for Prime or something, you know.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I wish I could speak more about it because it is one of those ones where you would talk about it and you'd be talking and what does this mean and what does that mean, and does that mean anything at all, sort of thing. So it's kind of, I think you might get into it a bit, Elton. I think it's definitely a, you know, tinfoil hat deep dive thing for you, for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, but
I'll
or not...
keep your eye out for that then.
Yeah, keep your eye out for that one. So, that's that. Right. Well, I think we'll leave it there. We do have some feedback, as I said. I thought we'd get more feedback about about the actual film, you know, Rush, which we reviewed last week. But no, what we actually got feedback was along the lines of this, and this is from Michael Kent Cornett, aka the Belly Stapler from Times of Yore, and he wrote about a third of the way in, and I'm getting the remarks about fandom. I recently started watching Dark Shadows again because why the hell not? I've got the time, and joined a fan group here on Facebook, and holy fuck, it's annoying. I just quit in disgust, and friends who were in it also quit as well. The people in it were plain fucking stupid, posting the same photos everywhere, getting upset over the smallest things, and obsessively promoting their favourite services for watching it. Oh, and responding to posts with completely unrelated replies because these fucks don't know how to fucking read. At which point, Martin Thompson comes up about the fandom. He says, I always thought that despite the biggest, most important season finale or Christmas special, at some point it will all end up being played at 3 a.m. on UK Gold. Or as they used to say, today's headlines are tomorrow's chip paper. He also goes on to say about Rush, which is it's the flat share thing, which you guys discussed, that blows this film wide open. It's not all about the cars going round in circles, but the real reason behind the rivalry was because Hunt ate Lauder's microbiotic yogurt despite the fact he clearly labelled it up and it was on his shelf in the fridge. While Happy Dave Renane over in New Zealand, the most COVID-free place on earth, said regarding the fandom thing, I was having a discussion earlier today with someone about cancel culture and how very loosely connected online groups can be. How loosely connected online group can really actually damage someone's livelihood by, say, posting enough negative feedback to get an online store closed. I wonder if online fandom is just another symptom of this kind of thing, with social media providing echo chambers that create an almost mob-like mentality that normal having to interact with human beings in the same way would traditionally diffuse. So basically, is it because everyone's being fans online? Is everything getting more blown out of control and everyone's getting more obsessed with their little corner of fandom? And yeah, I have to say I agree with that. There's a lot to be said. I mean, for those of you who didn't listen to the Rush episode, I basically went off on one about the fact that that fandom's getting a little too nichey and boring the arse off.
They can be though, can't they? And then you introduced what, gatekeepers? I think they call them now as well. And you're like,
are you the gatekeeper?
Yeah, exactly.
I am the key master. No, it's the other way around, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I'm the key master, mate.
Sorry,
gatekeeper's over there.
Yeah.
Him with the hat on.
Sigourney was the lock, and Rick Moranis was the key.
Ah.
There you go. I'll just leave that hanging. It's all there on the screen. It's all
Honey,
there.
I shrunk my key.
Yes, exactly. It was cold. What can I say? Anyway, there's a whole thing going on with us launching off that fandom rant that I had on the Rush episode. If you want to have a listen to that, go to last episode, which was episode 38. And if you want to get involved with the conversation further, join it on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/The Black Dog Podcast. Right. If anyone wants to leave any feedback for this episode, by the way, and anything we bring up watching Snatch, then by all means do it at the same place. So, right, we will get on to that right now. So we shall roll up the motor, get the guns out, get the shooters out, making sure they don't have replica down the side, and make us a cup of tea, Turkish. Roll the dingle, jingle, jingle, dangle. God blimey, looks a lordy missy. Turn the camera upside down.
Are them sausages ready yet?
Just 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes, sir.
Well, of course it is.
Hang up, stop. Roll the jingle.
I see it's nearly 5 o'clock. I'm here at home, my work's all done. No question where I'll be tonight, a place of cinematic fun. It's the lockdown, but I will not pout. Oh, my friends, I won't be seeing this out alone. There's Lee and Elton and Jim and Darren, all sitting far apart for social distance. We're at the shut-in cinema, down in the bunker of Shun. Down in the bunker of Shun. Hey fellas, it's been nearly 5 years. You gonna let me out now or what?
Okay, so Snatch. Guy Richies Snatch. Yes, make your own jokes if you're from the UK. Guy Richies Snatch is a 2000, I don't know how you best pronounce that. 2000 British crime comedy film, written and directed by Guy Ritchie. featuring an ensemble cast set in the London criminal underworld. The film contains two intertwining plots, one dealing with the search for a stolen diamond, and the other one about a small-time boxing promoter, Jason Statham, who finds himself under the thumb of a ruthless gangster, Alan Ford, who plays Bricktop. And he is he is ready to and willing to have his subordinates carry out severe and sadistic acts of violence, usually involving pigs. The film features an assortment of characters such as the Irish Travellers, a one-punch Mickey O'Neill. Goodness me, I didn't realise that was his name. Often referred to in the film as the Pikey. The arms dealer Boris the Blade Urinoff, professional thief and gambling addict Frankie Four Fingers, played by Benicio del Toro, and American gangster jeweler, Abram Denovitz, also known as Cousin Avi, played by Dennis Farina, who you may remember as being the head gangster Jimmy Serrano from Midnight Rum.
Oh. Of course, yes.
Yeah. There's also small-time crooks Saul, played by Lenny James, Vinny, played by Robin G, and getaway driver Tyrone, you silly fat bastard.
Of course I am.
And finally, bounty hunter Bullet Tooth Tony, played by Vinnie Jones. It's going to turn into a quote-a-thon, I tell you now. The budget was $10 million. And how much did it make at the box office, Jim?
TikTok is a kind of a mommy.
Correct. What about you, Elton?
I reckon the third round.
No, down in the third. Darren?
I reckon it made 12 treacles and then how's your father?
Oh, well, blimey, you're all right. First time ever.
Wow.
Who knew? Yeah, it made 83.6 million quid on its release. So we'll leave it there. But like I say, I didn't quite give the whole cast list, but we got Jason Statham, Stephen Graham, Brad Pitt, Alan Ford, Robin G, Vinnie Jones, Benicio del Toro, Mike Reed, run around. Again, another one.
It's not a free shop, is it? So fuck off.
Winkle.
Winkle.
Run around.
Yeah, somehow I feel there's going to be a section on the Facebook group for anyone overseas who doesn't know who Mike Reed is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Run around.
Run around.
Oh, Pat. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. So, yeah. Let's go quickly around the table. I think we can probably all guess the answers, but we'll go around the table and then we'll have a bit of a chat, probably just involving us just quoting over and over again. So first off, it was Elton's pick, so we'll go for you last, sir. But
Okay.
Jim, what did you think of this film?
I really enjoyed going back to this.
Mm-hmm.
I did see it a couple of years back. Therese hadn't seen it, so I dug out my copy. And every time I go back to it, I always enjoy it because it is just kind of... I know it's very 90s, but it's also very 60s to me because it is a caper movie. But with one people saying cunt in it a lot more than they did back in the 1960s. But the plot's just complicated enough that you never quite remember how all the pieces go together.
Yeah,
and it's sort of it's a fun ride revisiting it. Can you think, oh, I remember what's coming around the next bend. Hold tight.
Yeah,
it's a bit like going on your favourite roller coaster in that regard.
Yeah,
but yes, I had a lot of fun going back to this.
Cool. Okay, and Darren, what about you?
I really enjoyed it. It was a bit when it started. I don't know. I thought it was just like, a lot of these quick cuts. Is it trying to hide something? Is it trying to distract me from something I'm not seeing here?
Yeah,
I started getting a little bit suspicious of it. But as it went on, I started getting more into it. So, because I've never actually seen this before.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I've not seen this one before at all. I've seen a few Guy Ritchie films, and you can see it's a Guy Ritchie film because things have to go speedy up and then slow down, and then speed up again and slow down because apparently that's how action takes place.
Yes,
but yeah, in general, I enjoyed it, and for me, it's a little bit like Austin Powers 3, whereas we didn't really find it funny at the time, but all of a sudden you're quoting it left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right then. For me, I'll be honest with you. I did share a little bit of your reticence and apprehension at the beginning when it started going sort of like cameras moving in, moving out, moving in, moving out, spinning around 360 degrees. Everything's going stylized and in and stylized and out, and then. But once it settles down, I loved it, and I'll be honest with you. Probably another sort of anyone born before sort of 2000 probably won't get what the fuck we're on about. But it reminded me of a very sweary episode of Minder.
Yeah.
With everyone being in, even though half of them are criminals and villains and generally a bit dodgy, there's this sort of like assumption that it's Mockney charm and you'll sort of let it go and everything. Well, everyone's cool and you know there's a certain sort of gritty sort of, I don't know, charm to the whole thing.
Fashionable.
Yeah, I must admit, knowing people who talk like those people, I have to say I did sometimes sort of feel like I feel like a French waiter in Paris. You know, when people start trying to talk to me in French, and then they go, yeah, we'll just talk back to you in English, because there was one or two bits where you're like, yeah, okay, it's we can lay off the Mockney Geeza.
Oh, blimey, struck a match.
Yeah, up the apples and pears,
right across the face. Go on.
If the milk
Right
is
there.
sour, ain't the pushy to drink it. Oh, Geeza. So yeah, so there was a couple of moments. There was a couple of moments like that where I was like, okay, it's going to make my eyes twitch. But actually, after about 5 minutes, I didn't care. It was just a straightforward, silly caper and a lot of fun. So I enjoyed it. Elton, what about you, sir?
Okay, when this first came out, I loved it and watched it many, many times. And then it just popped off the radar. I think it was a case of, I've seen that a lot, I don't want to ruin it, and then kind of forgot about it. And I hadn't seen it in possibly 15 odd years until 2 weeks ago, where I watched half of it. And that's where I decided I need to put this on the docket.
Yeah.
And the reason why was because I was watching it and remember it didn't seem as good as I remembered. I was like, I'm not enjoying this as much as I like it. And I think the reason was because of like the snappy camera moves and the slow and speeding up, etc. But also, every time someone says a sentence, they say the person that they're talking to, their name in that sentence. So Sol will be talking to Tyrone, and he will go, so, why didn't you see that, Tyrone? Well, Sol, because of this. And it became a bit too much. But when you hit around about halfway through the film, I'd say when old Bricktop walks in and goes, hope I'm not disturbing anyone.
Yeah, I hope I haven't caught you at a bad time.
Yeah. Do you know who I am? I do. Around about that sort of time, it all kind of gathers itself together. And it's like, okay, you know where we are. You know what type of film this is. I kind of bled into it and it's like, okay, I'm feeling a bit more comfortable now. And watching it as a review, as something that I used to enjoy, but with a bit more of a critical eye on it, I fucking loved it. I thought it was so enjoyable. And you know what? A shining light that came out of this?
Go on.
Vinnie Jones.
Bonjour.
Yes.
He was
To the fucking beans.
his whole thing that he did, I didn't remember a single thing about it, apart from when they first cut to him and he's slamming that dude's head in the door, and then he picks up the phone. I'm like, oh yeah, I know what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, I totally forgot, and I thought he was fantastic in this.
Yeah. Yeah. Should I call you Bullet? Tooth? You can call me Susan if it makes you happy. Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Cool. Okay, so, yeah, I think all round, generally thumbs up. Okay, so let's get into it a bit. I mean, it is two stories. How straight off the bat, the thing that was always sitting in the back of my mind in this watch through was, how the fuck is this going to tie together? And frankly, it doesn't. Did anyone else have that problem? or was it just me going, hang on, this is a fucking shaggy dog story. These two bits aren't even going to touch until the very, very last frame. Anyone else have that problem?
I didn't have that problem. No, I was guessing where they would kind of meet up because I'd totally forgotten the whole film. And to me, it didn't feel like two stories. It felt like three because you had the boxing going on, you had the diamond, and then everyone else. There was a crew looking for someone else. They were looking for. I forget who it was.
Four-fingered Freddy or whatever his name is.
I think it was, yeah. And they were your three threads. So it didn't feel like two stories to me. It felt like three.
Right.
But I enjoyed the way that it all meshed together. I think you're right. It's very, okay, they have the diamond at the very last moment, but that's not enough. They do still feel a little separated, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, like I say, feel free to jump in, guys, if you got any other thoughts. I mean, personally, I thought exactly that. It was like about 3/4 of the way through, I'm thinking, well, they're running out of time. When do all these parts all come together? And when they do, which is basically throwing the milk out the window, it's like. Oh, it's not as clever as I thought it was. Because for some reason I had it in my head it was going to be like this Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12 kind of thing of sort of like all these intertwining threads all finally coming together, and it just felt like at the very end they just kind of went, oh, yeah, and these guys get the diamond because they found a dog. The end. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Ocean's 11 is like a finely tailored suit, but all the arms and legs are apart, but the tailor is just pulling the thread and all the arms and legs are going to come together at the very last minute to make that suit. And it'll look great.
Yeah.
This is not like that. This is like, I can't even think of an analogy for it at the moment. But
it's like, go on.
It's a film that relies on fucking, just tenuously linked coincidences of stuff just happening to be there.
Yeah.
It's like the whole thing with the dog being the gypsy, the old site. Like, well, that kind of makes sense. You can allow it, I suppose. It's like, yeah, it's a bit unlikely, but all right, fine.
Yeah,
it does. It kind of like the dots join up. It was, it always tried to run back.
Yeah,
to the gypsy site, and well, that's why they found it there.
I think to use your analogy about the suit, Elton, I think if something like Oceans is the suit, the tailor pulling together parts of a suit.
Yeah.
I think this is more like Darren's Craft Corner when he's got like a handful of stickle bricks and they're all fun on their own, But eventually, when Darren was putting them together, he didn't know if he was making a gun or a spaceship until the last piece went into place, and it was like, ta-da!
Oh, I always knew.
Bollocks.
No, I always did. Fuck off. I did. I did.
It's like
What's that,
Michelangelo. David's in this marble somewhere, definitely.
Yeah. Darren. Okay. What about you, Jim?
I fucking knew.
You didn't.
Fucking knew. Always knew. Fucking knew. I'll tell you what, like J.J. Abrams knew how space Lost was going to end. I knew what I was building.
How Star Wars was going to end.
Yeah, how Star Wars was going to end. Honest government.
Move along.
Move along.
Yeah. What about you, Jim? Did it bother you with the disjointed stories just coming together at the final last knockings?
Well, not really, because I think I see this as being sort of, I say it like a lot of those caper movies. You have several plot strands that all sort of just circle round each other, and it is very kind of like sort of classic farces of where somehow everybody knows each other somehow. And they'll run into each other at exactly the wrong moment. And it's kind of, yes, it's not realistic, but that's kind of, well, reality. It's overrated. It's shit, piss, COVID, and stinging nettles. Bollocks to reality, you know? If you wanted a realistic version of this film, it would be some diamonds didn't get stolen. The end.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I kind of, and as it's sort of done with humour, you get. I think it gives it. Comedy gives you a license to go to absurd places, and I think this does it immaculately.
Yeah.
Goes to some very ridiculous places, and I'm more than happy to see that, because the thing is, every time I watch it, I don't find it a predictable movie because it's so interwoven. Even though I have seen it, I always forget bits. And generally, I mean, I'm at a stage in my life where I have to cover up the counter on the DVD player, because if I can see the running time, I can predict the beats of the movie because everyone went to the same fucking film school and has the mind of a kipper. You know what I mean? If you any sort of film that can actually take me by surprise, that that's a high badge of honour.
Yeah.
I just love the energy this film has in just throwing all these random storylines together, and you have no idea where you are in the plot.
Yeah.
Or what or how long you got left, but it has its own momentum at the same time. You can feel it escalating, and I think he pulled it off here. It's his best film by a long chalk, and I don't think he's done anything decent since, to frankly. But if you get lightning in the bottle once, hey, you got lightning in the bottle. You did well. It's more than most people do.
Yeah.
Did
Now stop
anybody
making
see
films,
Rock and
though,
Roller?
Guy.
Rock and Roller.
Yeah.
No,
Is that any good? Or...
No, that's not.
I've not heard it's good, so I've avoided it.
No.
As I've avoided all these other films, to be honest.
There's Rock and Roller, which is bloody awful. Then there's what was the other one that I didn't like? There was The Gentleman was just passable. The Gentleman was passable. It had some moments and it was all right, but it generally was just a bit like, oh, for fuck's sake. He did Man from U.N.C.L.E., which I did enjoy.
Oh yeah, that was good.
What was the other one he did? Oh, the one
Sherlock?
Yeah, he did all the Sherlock Holmes movies with Downey Jr. And oh god, that fucking awful King Arthur one with with Taron Egerton. No, not Taron Egerton. What's his name?
Charlie.
Hum.
It takes 3.5 minutes to pronounce his name.
Yeah,
because you have to do the song.
Yeah. Exactly, including the Lee's going on the scat movement.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was part of the script from Snatch there for a moment. Yeah, Geeza.
Yeah. But well, the rabbit gets fucked. Proper fucked. What, really fucked?
He directed the the latest Aladdin movie as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Though with the Mockney thing or Cockney thing, you'd probably say he probably just got told you want to get Aladdin. But
Right.
Are you a genie? Of course I'm a fucking genie.
yeah. Yeah, there's something wrong with our plumbing. You need to get Aladdin. All right. Oh no, world! What the fuck's this?
Do you know what? Right, all the sort of the memes, or the video memes, like Brick Vader and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
There was one line that I'd never heard before because I've heard literally all the quotes from this film before I'd actually seen the film.
Yeah.
Right, and the one that sticks in my head now that I heard for the first time was lose him. How'd you fucking lose him? He's not a set of fucking car keys.
He's not exactly fucking conspicuous, is he? Yeah. Oh man, I have to say, I mean, we can't go too far without talking about the script. I mean, the script itself is, I mean, plot devices aside, I mean, the script itself is up there with In Bruges in terms of that kind of whip smart fucking put downs and an absolute pin sharp shot of now fuck off. The amount of times
all the fucks are in the right place, aren't they?
Exactly.
All the passion is in the right place, and it flows really, really well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's like I appreciate that. All bets are off. There ain't any money. I'm not fucking buying that. Well, that's handy because I'm not fucking selling it. But yeah, I mean, did you? Okay, how do I put it? Was there a moment where you kind of thought, well, I've got this Mockney? I keep calling it Mockney. It's not Mockney, but it's this Cockney thing getting a bit wearing, or were you in for the long haul? This sort of everyone's called Harry the Hat or Jeff the Broom or Fred the Stick or all this sort of thing.
Well, that's a typical thing, an old age gangster like Jack the Hat, McVitie, that kind of thing. Everybody had a thing attached to their name. It's like what is it, Chicken Head or something?
Bullet Tooth Tony, wasn't it?
Bullet Tooth Tony, yeah. Yeah, he took 6 bullets in the same sitting.
Harry the Crumble, it's that kind of thing,
Yeah.
Bobby the Shoe Polish, that.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, was it getting to the point where it was getting to the sort of like Dick Van Dyke levels of, as we're taking the piss, you sort of go, go blimey, Geeza, governor, fucking.
I didn't think so. It was just on the left of that. I thought it trod a fine line sometimes, and especially when they're repeating their names again and again, and then you drop Vinnie Jones into it, and you think this is going to just tip over the edge and become a bit too cartoony, and it's just on the right side of not being too cartoony for me. It has the caricatures of a cartoon and such, where you can kind of fall in love with the characters that you are presented with.
Yeah.
And I think each and every single one of these characters is great, and they all have great lines as well. And some of the speeches chucked in there are marvellous. But I don't think it crosses that line. If it did, then I think it would have crumbled down towards the very end. But the end, where it's like, hand me a shooter. You're like, okay, I remember where this is going. This is going to be amazing. And I still haven't worked out what's going on just yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't think it was too Cockney-esque. I think they did it just right. And then you had, I suppose, balancing that, you had Brad Pitt's amazing performance. I think it's one of his best performances.
Really?
I honestly do, because I think sometimes he can deliver a very similar character in every single... unless he's doing over-the-top caricature type thing. Look at Inglourious Bastards when he did that. It was very over-the-top, and very non-Brad Pitt. This was non-Brad Pitt, but toned down, and it was the perfect tone for it.
I think it's the first film I've seen him in where he isn't constantly chewing. Because that always seems to be his go-to "I'm not acting, but I'm acting" thing. Where he seems to, if you watch any film with him in it,
Golami.
If he's not directly in the middle of the shot, you'll find that he's usually eating or chewing. Guarantee it, absolutely guarantee it.
He was picking up sunflower seeds or something like that in Burn Before Reading, wasn't he?
Exactly, and chewing on the tobacco in Inglourious Bastards, and in and then when you see him in the Ocean's 11 movies, he's always eating crackers or picking stuff off of the buffet table and nobbling on it. It's just like nomming on it. It's just like if he or he has bubble gum in 7. It's just whenever he's not in the shot or whenever he's not directly in the frame at the time, he's always chewing.
Right.
There you go. Just watch out for that now, and you'll never be able to unsee it. You're welcome. You're welcome, Internet.
What did you think? Did it go too far?
No, I didn't think it went too far. I think in terms of what you mean chewing. No,
no, not the chewing.
No,
what did you think of Brad Pitt's chewing?
Well, I think it was a low 7 on his chewometer. Yeah. No, as far as it goes, it didn't bother me because, like I say, it doesn't really bother me too much. But I know from that sort of thing can be a massive cliche, and especially seeing as Snatch and Lock, Stock which came before it, have really spawned that kind of stick the camera on a piece of string and spin it around your head 4 times while everyone goes, "Oh, blimey, Geeza, call up, Jack the Flaps." He's coming in. He's coming in for a couple of salmons and throw us up the apples and pears.
Jack the Flaps, wasn't that a single by the Reynolds Girls?
Maybe. I think it was the Cheeky Girls actually. But you know what I mean, and I become very.
Do you know what Cheeky Girls is?
The
dictionary says
the cheeky girls can go through bone like butter.
Yeah. In the immortal words of the Virgin Mary, come again.
Front of the Cheeky Girls, Errol. Oh, that's it now.
Yeah.
The Cheeky Girls has to be put into various different lines in Snatch.
Oh, dear. Yeah,
Never trust a cheeky girl farmer.
Oh, God, here we go. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think of one now. Oh, God.
You're always going to have
D-list male
problems.
celebrity like Bone Through Bat.
Yeah. Yeah. Did he have 4 fingers? I'm sorry, I didn't get the Cheeky Girls out in time. Anyway, what do you think, Errol? I think we should Cheeky Girls them, Governor, while we have the chance. It was a rhetorical question, Errol. What have I told you about thinking? Anyway. But no, I mean, going back to the original question and away from the Cheeky Girls for a second. But I don't mind it too much. But I am aware that, like I say, that style and that whole idea of giving everyone a fucking nickname got ripped off about 1 million times after Snatch and Lock, Stock, but came out sort of one after the other. There was things like, Shooting Aces, and then there was those fucking Casino 888 adverts that were doing the rounds for a while. There's Fred the Washer, who's sort of throwing down 10p on a fucking game of blackjack, and all this sort of thing. And Casino, wasn't it? Casino 888.
Danny the Dustbin.
That's it. Yeah. But Bert the Bin Man, and
Freddie the Fish Finger.
Jeff Custard.
So that would be Jeff Cakes, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Jeff Cakes. Yeah. Yeah, but anyway,
legendary strongman turned baker. Yeah,
exactly. But I mean, it didn't bother me. But it was one of those things that because it's so affected and it's become so in the pop culture since coming out, I just wondered if maybe sort of, you guys coming to it might have kind of looked at it and gone, fucking hell, give it a rest with the sort of geezer.
I think it's a thing that we do now.
Yeah,
where you have like your Italian mafia things where they do a very similar thing, but there's a reason behind the name. There is a reason behind the name in this, but it's more for comedy value, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's more like a piss take. It's like a superhero thing that we used to dish out. You never get given your own. You can't give your own nickname to yourself.
No, you never do.
No,
you never do. It's not right. You don't do that.
No. But I don't mind it. I know it spawned a load of movies after that, but do you know what? Let's run with it. Sod it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, it's just because we're looking back on it. We're looking back on it from a different time now. We're looking back on it where the film where Snatch and Lock, Stock of, because I'm going to put them both together because they essentially came out like right on top of each other, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they kind of permeated the pop culture so quickly that, at the time it all seemed fresh and new, and yet here we are sort of 21 years later, for fuck's sake. Oh God, 21 years. Me hearts. Yeah, we're sort of looking back on it now from a place where if one more geezer comes up and says, "God blimey, I'm gonna get the fucking shooter and I'm gonna go down the pub and fucking have him." Ooh, geezer. Half the time you sort of hear that on telly now. And you're like, oh God, do me a favour, I'm gonna be sick. So, yeah, I was just wondering if that was had the same impact. Okay, so let's go for the low hanging fruit. Go on, who is your favourite character, or what was your favourite moment?
Okay. I'm gonna have to go. It's an easy one to say Bricktop, but I'm gonna have to say Brad Pitt for his performance.
Yeah.
I think he was my favourite character because it was so unexpected. And then you have the bit where it goes real dark, where Bricktop burns down his mother while he was sleeping.
Yeah.
And you're like, fucking hell, you've woken the dragon now, haven't you?
Yeah.
You really have. And you're just waiting for that plan to fall out, especially when he gets drunk at the wake and he's an absolute fucking mess in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say Brad was my favourite one in this.
Cool. I mean, it was interesting to see him in that sort of role because, that's not the pretty boy roles he was known for. So I guess he was kind of playing against type, really, wasn't he? So, but it was kind of interesting because it was a role with dialogue that nobody understood.
The thing is, you can spot a few bits where he improvises.
Yeah.
There's a bit where he's talking to Turkish and the dog jumps up at him and he goes, hey, fuck it down.
Yeah, get the fuck out.
Rolls with it without missing a beat, completely still in character.
Yeah. No, get the fuck out of me. Yeah. But I love all that sort of like, Tommy, do you have a fucking idea what that word they said?
I did have to put the subtitles on a couple of times.
No.
Just to get the gist of it.
No, that's the whole point.
I know that's the whole point, but then I've seen the film a number of times, and now I want to actually know what's going on.
Oh, right, fair enough. Well, all right then. Before we get to the rest of you guys about the favourite scenes, I mean, Darren, this is your first time watching it. How did you feel about the Brad Pitt characters? Sort of like,
No, I think that's I think it's quite spot on.
Yeah,
with the actual the sort of the machine gun sort of delivery of his the words and everything in that accent and everything like that. I think I think he really did his research on that one.
Mm.
You know, and managed to get. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't. You know, I'm not part of that society myself, but from things I've seen, yeah, I think, you know, personally, he was very convincing.
Yeah.
As that character. I mean, I did like his mate as well, who was played by another famous actor.
Oh, Jason Fleming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
All you heard from all he did was like, it would always be spoken in whispers. He'd like lean in until getting near the end when Turkish turns up after his mum's.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt's mum's been burnt in a caravan, and it's what the fuck are you still doing here?
You've got some white coming over here.
Yeah, that. But up until that point, it's always like,
Yeah.
Like the teacher in Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
oh, that was most of the Cockney characters. Geeza. So yeah. Let's see what was possibly my favourite bit in this. Oh, I don't know. I felt great satisfaction when Bricktop got his comeuppance.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like you just feel. I mean, as much as there's comedy there, the bloke is, you know, he's just menace. That's it. It's like that's all he is. There's nothing friendly about him. You know, it's. I mean, I've seen people like him before myself. You know, it's. It's. I mean, the guy who plays him. I can't remember the actor.
Alan Ford.
Alan Ford. He plays the part very well. He did kind of play. He's played the same kind of thing before. If you ever watch, was it Alan Partridge? Right, in the very first Alan Partridge series, he was on that as a gangster on there, and it was very Bricktop. His delivery of that, he's like, "Oh, you want to know then, do you?" And Alan Partridge is like, "No." And he pushes him a little bit too far, and he just like you just.
If you want to get sucked in, I will suck you in, son.
I don't want to get sucked in. Just you see Partridge visibly shitting himself. He's very good at that role. I mean, Jesus Christ, he's a very. I mean, you can understand why he's been in so many, you know, films and TV series as the sort of like, you know, playing some sort of gangster role. He's very, very good at it. He knows the delivery. That's it. He's got one of them sort of faces.
Yeah,
you know, and he does the expressions. It's that, you know, and you can always tell when violence is about to occur because he gets very, very posh,
very polite.
He talks. Yeah. Do you know what the word nemesis means? And it's like that. It's like all the glottal stops suddenly disappear, and it's that. Oh, it's like the two gangsters who, or is it his henchmen? I think he just insulted us, Johnny. I think he did. That kind of thing. You know that trouble is about to happen when they go. So like the grammar gets corrected before it's said. You know, it's oh no.
That's a bit hostile, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that was hostility. We don't like that.
Sugar? No thanks, Treacle. I'm sweet enough.
Yeah, no thanks, Turkish. I'm sweet enough. Yeah. Okay. I mean, so
my favourite character, I think the one that impressed me the most, I think it was Vinnie Jones.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him in a lot of this was like very early Vinnie Jones, and I think this was where he was really starting to feel comfortable with acting because there's humour. You know, and he plays the humour very well. He looks like an actor that's comfortable with doing the funny stuff as well as being serious. So for me, Vinnie Jones was actually a surprise in this.
Yeah,
he didn't seem like in Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels. Because I think he was in that before he did Snatch, wasn't he?
That's right.
That came out, yeah. So I think this is him now feeling a lot more comfortable with actually getting up on screen and being an actor. So yeah, he was actually. I actually did enjoy his performance.
Cool
in this. So
Yeah. Excellent. What about
there you go.
Nice. Okay. What about you, Jim?
Oh, it's tough. I mean, I get a kick out of seeing Mike Reed in this movie, just for the juxtaposition. It's just like Dennis Farina, Vinnie Jones, Mike Reed, all in the same scene. That's mind blowing. You know what I mean? If you know who those three are, it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
what? But it works,
Yeah.
and it's funny.
Yeah.
It's just so strange. But I mean, it's funny coming back to this movie now because now we have Statham, TM, and this is all like pre-Transporter,
Yeah.
where he's actually not playing fisty McPunchy slaphead. You know what I mean? He's actually playing a character, and I kind of like it. I noticed in this sort of particular viewing, it's actually Turkish. He's the one who's got clean hands.
Yeah.
He's a guy, you know, no one takes a dive in his fight.
Yeah.
He's keeping an eye on Tommy and trying to not let Tommy get sucked into all this gangster bullshit and mocks him for buying guns and this kind of stuff. And you know what I mean? And just kind of, he's running a clean sheet, basically.
Yeah.
Even if he's in underground boxing, but you know what I mean? He's fair. He's not on the take. He doesn't have a crew of goons. He has a man who can barely cook him sausages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think he's like the innocent in this story. Because everyone else is working an angle. And kind of, I think, it's hard to pick a favourite scene because what I noticed is kind of, it's, you know, they're saying there's always a bigger fish. Well, this is like kind of like a new robberous worm of bigger fish all trying to eat each other's tail.
Yeah. Definitely.
And the end's so satisfying because you've bought in the idea that Bricktop is the biggest fish in the pond and therefore the nastiest, and you've completely written off the pikeys because they've got funny accent and they look like they're pissed all the time. But actually, they're even more ruthless and they don't fuck around doing patter.
Yeah.
If they piss you off, you just get a shotgun in the face. End of.
Yeah.
Someone walks up to your car, bang, fuck off. Nothing else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's that whole thing about like when they turn up at the dump at the end, and it's like, yeah, the pikeys had gone, but it was probably just as well considering there was probably 12 or 15 bodies buried around this site. Yeah.
But so there's so much in this movie that it's just so many just great little scenes and the character interactions and think about what you say about the Mockney thing. I think with films being this influential, the gold mark is: do you watch it and does it sound like one of its own parodies? And watching this, you realise how bad all the films that rode on the coattails were.
Yeah, I think it's that whole thing. It's both this and was it Lock, Stock have the shock of the new, don't they? Because there was nothing quite like them out there.
But what happens when these sort of things come along is people go, "Oh right, they did that. We can do that. Get some guys, shoot it grainy, spin the camera around, say cunt and talk Mockney, and we'll rake it in, lads."
Yeah,
but they miss where the magic actually is. And for me, I know it's probably a cliche, but my favourite scene is: have I caught you at a bad moment? When Bricktop comes in, and you know there's Goldie there.
Yeah,
he says, "He's very quiet." He says, "Does any of you know who I am?" And Goldie just says very quietly, "I do."
I do.
And then the next scene you can see he's just doing almost a Picard-worthy face palm in the background.
Yeah.
Just like, fuck!
How did I get roped into this?
Yeah. But then you get that much-quoted speech.
Yeah.
Do you know what Nemesis is?
Yeah.
But, I mean, that is, for me, that is like poetry. Like, you're proper, you know, and I'm an English literature graduate, I'm qualified to know. But it's the juxtaposition of the very elegant and very precise and very knowledgeable definition of what Nemesis is from Greek literature and Greek tragedy, and then just paired up with the punchline, as by like a horrible cunt like me.
Yeah.
So at the end, that's brilliant. You know what I mean?
Do you know one of the
You know-
speeches in that I thought was
Yeah.
even just as good as that was where
Yeah.
he's explaining to them how to get rid of a body.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
understand.
Yeah, that's right. You can get through 200 pounds of meat in approximately so on, but you got to take out the teeth and the hair to help the piggy's digestion. Because you don't want to, because you can leave it in, of course, but you don't want to be going rooting through pig shit now, do you? Yeah. Oh man, cool. I mean, for me, I have to say that the thing I appreciated this time round was the whole subplot with Soul and Mickey. No, not Mickey. Soul and Vinny and Tyrone, because their ineptitude is essentially the catalyst for the whole fucking thing, and I didn't really appreciate that the first time round. I think I was just watching these different characters ping-ponging off of each other. But the whole thing about, he's a rally driver.
Of course I am.
And he's like, I'm not backing in there. You could back a fucking jumbo jet in there. And you can't park in a 4-car parking space.
It's a bit tight.
And the whole thing when he does the two idiots do the bookies, and then he shoots through the wall and he's trying to get the money out, and then they just take the money, and it's like it's copper coins, and they can't get out, and it's like it's bulletproof glass, and they're sat there, and they take their heads, their balaclavas off, and the camera's staring straight at them, and he's like. So, what are we going to do? Well, I'd do a lot more if you weren't saying my fucking name all the time. and then finally you just see Tyrone just open the door the other way. And it's just like...
What are you two doing here?
Tyrone, you silly fat bastard. He's our getaway man. What's he got? He can't get away from anything.
See, it's funnier now you're telling me these lines, and I remembered them. Just, at the time, they were like, put a smile, but they're even funnier now. You're relaying them back to me.
Yeah, it's just like, all of them, all the lines are just brilliant. And the thing is, half of them, like I say, with like something like in Bruges, they're coming at you so thick and fast. Half the time, you're missing them. It's like the bit when you see the camera footage of the bookies, and there's Bricktop and there's Errol and all this, and he goes, do you know these tits, Errol? And Errol goes, I know a lot of tits, Gov, but none of them as fucking stupid as these two. And then Tyrone walks in, you silly fat bastard. And there's so many things like that where you just sort of, the first time round, you kind of miss it, or you just don't get a chance to acknowledge it before the next line's coming up. But it's just, I just, the whole Vinny, Soul, Tyrone thing, I mean, it's a shame they kind of drop out sort of 2/3 way through, because they were almost carrying the film pretty much, because Turkish and Mickey and Turkish trying to get a camper van, which is also the stupidest way to start to have this whole thing unravel.
Yeah,
it's just like I actually thought they would be more central to it, but actually it turns out they're not, and it's just that was kind of the bit that threw me. That it was like, actually, no, this isn't right. But but even then, when Tyrone and Soul and Vinny turn up at the pub in front of Bullet Tooth Tony, and they've got the fucking replicas on the replica written down the side of the gun, and it's like,
and mine has Desert Eagle .50 written down the side of mine.
And now like like something like a wilting dick, you're gonna get out of my way. Now fuck off. And it's just so much of it is just, I don't know. I just found myself kind of reveling in the kind of, it was kind of really sort of juicy dialogue, and it's all swearing and it's all quick-witted, but it was just so much fun.
I wanted to see a bit more Del Toro as well.
Did you? Because he kind of. He was probably the one bit where I was kind of sitting there going, well, what's the point of him? Because as soon as... Though I have to say, the cutaways whenever they mention boxing in front of him, and it kind of goes, Viva Las Vegas. Just little...
There's that beautiful moment where he's on the phone and he's smelling a cigar and he's having a cup of tea and he's getting tailored up. And the suits just instantly change and change
every time
again.
it cuts back, he's in a different outfit.
Yeah, I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
And then he's got them all in the back of that van, so he's doing different things in different suits to look a different way.
Yeah.
But I thought he was a great little character, but he got taken out because he needed to get taken out. But he was the reason why the stone was there, wasn't he? So
Why has he got a tea cozy on his head? Because I'm trying to keep his fucking head warm. Oh, sorry. I found myself doing that all the way through this film. It was just like watching it and then all of a sudden catching like little asides, and it's just like you got to open up the dog. Open up the dog. He's not a fucking packet of peanuts. I thought you said he was a getaway driver. What the fuck can he get away from?
It's the bit where they're sat in the car and he gets out and he takes like a full 3 minutes to get out of the driver's seat. And it's just the exchanging of looks. It's like, we're depending on this bloke.
Yeah, and the dog swallowed the squeaky toy. So
The dog and the squeaky toys.
and as Tyrone's getting out of the car, you can hear the dog going. Like he's kind of squeezing Tyrone out of the car. Oh.
So would we say that, you know, the essential British crapness of everything in this film, because there is that element in it.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to be gangsters, and there's just that little, it's just that the Britishness about the whole thing, where it's not quite as good as the stuff they're trying to copy.
Yeah,
You know, it's
exactly.
that,
Yeah.
there's that in there.
Oh.
Which kind of lets down the
That's
sides.
what all the imitators got wrong, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all went, Brit, Mockney, Cockney is cool. And it's kind of, no, you're missing the entire point of Snatch.
Yeah.
That they're all chances punching above the weight.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was that whole thing of just like, ambitious but rubbish. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
I'll tell you the other bit I just remembered. It was also that bit with Vinnie Jones shooting through the wall. And then basically he sees was it bulletproof? Was it
Boris the Bullet Dodger.
Boris the Bullet Dodger.
Of course he bullet dodges bullets at him.
he fucking
Shoots
shoots.
him about 100 times. But every time he shoots him,
Boris,
it just
don't take the
comes
piss.
Back, just comes back with something else.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to get up in a second. You need to give me the time. Give me the time. Right, I'm going to make up now. I'm going to get up now. Look, Boris, stop taking a piss.
and then he goes to shoot Tyrone as well.
Goes, you
Lucky bastard.
Oh, it's just...
There was one mean bit. I think it was very beginning. It was when they were talking. It was Bricktop, and he's talking to that Gary, and all of a sudden that bag goes over his head.
Yeah.
He's like, "You're a ruthless little cunt, Liam. I'll give you that, but I've got no time for grasses."
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah.
We have that wonderful cut to the two boxers who look, fucking hell.
Yeah. What the fuck are you looking at?
But I noticed it's a lot of really, really nicely shot stuff. I know we sort of have mocked the speeding up, spin the camera, slow it down.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you got that wonderful scene with the hair coursing, which runs parallel with Errol and John running down
After Tyrone, yeah.
And the actual boxing scene, the final boxing scene, I think it's really well done. You have a glorious shot of Brad Pitt, and you can see it is Brad Pitt getting lamped, flying through the air in slow-mo, laid out flat like he's on a magic carpet at one stage.
Yeah.
That's fucking fantastic camera work.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, sorry, no, but I mean, seriously, I thought some of the. I mean, as you say, as soon as some of the camera work calmed the fuck down, the visual inventiveness of like when he gets punched so hard that they literally drop him in a swimming pool. To sort of like represent like him being knocked out, and he's literally flat when he goes backwards. He's like at like 90 degrees to the floor, completely. It's like, wow, that was pretty damn cool. But
that music going over the top of it as well. I love that music. Flipping love that.
What was that track?
That's "Fucking in the Bushes" by Oasis.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
That's incredible. It is a rip-off of like Led Zeppelin and stuff like that that's come before, as you know they've done throughout their whole career. But it's a top track, and it's just got that ruthless power behind it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the soundtrack. The soundtrack is a bit sort of, again, it's a bit sort of like end of the 90s, jangly needle drops, but again, it's the first time it's sort of come about in that kind of way. So you know, again, you have to look back on it and go, well, actually, you know, nowadays, you know, you see that sort of thing in everything from the intro to Brooklyn Nine-Nine to like I say, Casino 8, you know, adverts. But no, I thought it was very cool.
Well, the soundtrack also has a lot of classic old cuts mixed in with the new stuff as well, which, watching it this time, it surprised me. I'd forgotten how many sort of classic vintage tunes there is in there, and that kind of actually helps it to not feel like a snapshot of the 90s so much. It's in its own little world. Yeah. And, you know, because, yes, every era has its music, but everyone's still listening to the classics. And it uses some classic tunes in to brilliant effect in this as well. Yeah. And so I thought it really struck me, God, that's a really strong soundtrack, a mix of cutting edge stuff, but also some really like classic stuff as well thrown in. And it's kind of that's how you do a good sort of soundtrack from, you know, existing tunes.
Yeah, the one that strikes me and go back to was when the gorgeous George gets lamped by Brad Pitt's character. And it just suddenly starts playing Golden Brown as the camera is just pulling away. It's like,
isn't that the perfect song for that moment, though? Isn't it?
Exactly. And it's that sort of thing all over. It was just like you kind of get all these kind of interesting little needle drops on it. And you know, like Ghost Town, I wasn't too surprised by. You know, when you're kind of driving around and you know the specials and that sort of thing. But I did like, especially when you look at it in hindsight with Guy Ritchie and where Guy Ritchie ended up. But, you know, sort of Vinnie Jones doing all that stuff to Lucky Star by Madonna. I fucking love this track.
Seems ironic that tire's got you in this predicament, doesn't it?
Yeah, slow down. I think I might just speed up. He's not subtle, but he's effective.
I had so much fun with this now. It's so good.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I don't want a dog dribbling on my seat. Your seats, Tyrone. This is a stolen car.
If I'm driving it, it's my car.
Oh dear.
Gee, I could. Well, I couldn't personally quote it, but there's loads of things I'd love to be able to quote from.
Yeah.
On this, there's so much in there. Like, what's the gun for? It's for protection. Protection from what? The Germans. It's just that Statham, just brilliant comedy there, isn't it? It's just one moment. It's like, oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Where have we seen? We haven't seen that before. Oh, well, since really, have we?
No, not really.
With him?
No. I mean, they tried it. He tried it a bit with was it the Expendables? But that was just a pile of arse.
See, I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, that's what happens when you leave someone to just improv a scene. That we may do the Expendables one day when I'm feeling masochistic. But yeah, you leave five muscle men and half a dozen stunt men in a room to try and figure out how to do a script about how they're all friends together. God bloody hell, that's bad. Yeah. Anyway, I mean, any last thoughts on this? I mean, because I think we loved it, didn't we? Really, in the end.
Yeah,
I think it's a well-liked film.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it even more now that we've spoken about it, and I'm glad I chose this one. So yeah,
good. Definitely. Pull your tongue out of my arsehole, Gary.
You're not a dog, are you? No, I'm not.
No. Oh dear. Anyway, right. So, any other thoughts? Are we all done? I think we're all done.
I'm good. We're good, I think.
Well, I think we're good. Okie dokie. Right, cool. Well, in which case, if anybody else has any thoughts, anybody want to drop a whole heap of quotes, no doubt will, then by all means, drop them into the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Black Dog Podcast. If you would like to get in contact with us through Twitter, I'm on @BlackDogPodcast. And that's it. Before we find out how things are in everyone else's podcast land, we got to find out what this week's movie is. And it is the turn of Mr. Barnard to pick a film. Have you got a film for us, Mr. B?
Sorry to bother you.
Sorry? Sorry to bother me? No. You got to tell everyone what you got. What's the film?
Yeah, sorry to bother you.
No, you're not bothering me, mate. What is the film?
The movie called Sorry to Bother You.
Oh,
yes.
See, that's what I was thinking. So, Sorry to Bother You.
Yes, indeed.
Right. I will be perfectly honest. I have little or no idea what this film is about, apart from one central premise, and even that is kind of shaky at best. So I'm going to just say that I don't know what this film is about.
Okay.
Has anyone else seen this film or know of it?
I've not even heard of it, to be honest.
Okie dokie. And Elton?
I'm in the same boat. Never heard of it at all.
Okay. And Darren, you picked it because?
I picked it because I've heard of it. I've never seen it, but it sounds like an interesting premise.
Okie dokie. So we're going into this one utterly blind. So there you go. Yeah. And it's on what service there, mate?
It's on Netflix.
It is on Netflix. Okay, so Netflix, ladies and gentlemen, Sorry to Bother You. I'm just gonna quick Google that up. Sorry, this is always a great thing to hear a man Google.
Do you want me to read the blurb?
Well,
it's on Netflix.
I'm looking at it now. It's got it right here, 2018. Go on in if you want to read it out, you can.
Okay, it says, after heeding a co-worker's advice, a telemarketer easily climbs up the corporate ladder until success lands him in a corporate and moral chaos. And that's it.
Yes,
okay. That's what it's got there.
Right.
And, it's actually got Danny Glover in it as well.
And
this.
Right.
Tessa Thompson.
Okay.
And let's see, Lakeith Stanfield. I think that was one of the. He was in.
Lakeith Stanfield. Now that name rings a bell. Hold on a second. He was in Straight Outta Compton. He was playing Snoop Dogg.
Yes, he was. There we go.
There you go. He plays Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
Okay.
He was also in Get Out as well.
Ah, and I know where I've seen him as well. Uncut Gems and yeah. Okay, gotcha. Right, fine. I know who he is. Cool. Well, so Sorry to Bother You is the movie, ladies and gentlemen, and that is Darren's choice that we'll be doing next week. So that's that. That's all the time we've got left, and we are wrapping it up now. So, Geeza, let's wrap it up and find out what's going on in the wonderful world of Hypnagoria. Dan, your manner, Jim.
Well, this week I've got a head-to-head feature I'm looking at. Bryan Singer's Jack the Giant Slayer and its mockbuster little brother, Jack the Giant Killer, from the Asylum.
Okay.
And meanwhile, on Commentary Club in maybe tomorrow or Thursday, we'll be dropping a new episode in which we're revisiting Clue with Tim Curry, Michael McKean, and many, many others.
Oh, nice. I have never seen that film. Never.
Really?
Yep, never. I've heard so much about it, but I've never seen it. That sounds interesting. So we will check that out, sir. And that's all over at hypnagoria.com, yes?
Indeedy.
Lovely jubbly. Now, over to you, Elton. What about you, sir? What's going on in Rogue 2 Media?
We have dropped a few episodes of Into the Expanse. We're working our way through the 5th season there. I think we've just dropped the 5th episode. We're all out of sorts at the moment. We're recording 2 a week. And I think we're dropped the 5th one, so we're a couple ahead at the moment. So it's all a bit peculiar. But you can catch all that over at Road 2 Media. Also, dropping next Tuesday is an episode of Shonky Lab where we're talking about tabletop wargaming, like Warhammer and Bolt Action, etc.
Nice.
So head over there next Tuesday.
Brilliant. Darren, are you appearing on anything? Apart from milk cartons?
Yeah, maybe Crime Watch. I don't know. Let's see what the week holds for me, eh?
Hey, let's see. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Okay. Well, apart from this and on Twitter, which is at Black Dog Podcast, you can also hear me on this latest release of The Great Derelict, where I speak to Andy Palastides about synthespians. Or synthetic virtual actors and the like, which actually started off as I don't think we have a lot to talk about, and then ended up by the end of it going quite down a few rabbit holes, as these things tend to do. But you can find that over at greatderelict.libsyn.com, or if you go to the Facebook group, which is The Great Derelict, you can find the links on there. So, that's it. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton.
You're welcome.
And, yes, thank you all for listening. Stay safe. Hope everyone stays well. And we shall see you all next week for Sorry to Bother You. Until then, take care, and we'll speak to you soon. Tatty bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me down the road. It's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on.
Get out of the booth, Jack.
No, I like it in here.